Hello and welcome to today's episode, which explains post-shipment finance types and features. The term export finance refers to credit facilities and techniques of payments at the pre-shipment and post-shipment stages. Export finance, whether short-term or medium-term, is provided exclusively by the Indian and foreign commercial banks, which are the members of the Foreign Exchange Dealers Association. The Reserve Bank of India and Industrial Development Bank of India provides refinance facilities to the commercial banks. Export-Import Bank of India, known as Exim Bank, also extend finance to exporters and to overseas projects, abroad joint ventures and construction projects. Before moving to details of today's topic, let me give you a quick introduction about myself. I am Pallavi Mohan, working since 17 years, both nationally and internationally, worked in 5 countries and studied in 3 countries. Have held leadership positions in the field of marketing, retail, operations, PR and communications. Have worked with many MNCs. Recent assignment was with Samsung Electronics as a corporate communication professional, contributing towards 4 countries. Well, let's get back started with details of the topic today. Pre-shipment finance. Pre-shipment finance refers to the financial assistance provided to the exporters before actual shipment of goods. Pre-shipment finance is provided to the exporters for the purpose like purchase of raw material, their processing and converting into finished goods and packaging them. For this purposes, following pre-shipment finance is made available. First, packaging credit. Second, advance against incentives. Third, advance against duty drawbacks. Pre-shipment credits are granted by the banks under concessional rates of interest at 7.5%. Credit can be extended up to a maximum period of 6 months. Post-shipment finance. Post-shipment finance may be as any loan or advance granted or any other credit provided by a bank to an exporter of goods from India from the date of extending the credit after shipment of goods to the date of realization of exports proceeds. Thus, post-shipment finance serves as brigade loan for the period between shipment of goods and the realization of proceeds. Such loan is usually provided for a maximum period of 6 months. Interest is charged at the rate of 8.65%. Business involves risk, but export business is more prone to risks. With a view to reduce risk elements in export business, the government has set up the Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation, which provides export assistance in the form of insurance cover and guarantee. There is also an Export Inspection Council of India, which extends financial assistance to the exporters for the quality control purposes. Students, let's now understand pre-shipment finance in details. Pre-shipment finance is issued by financial institutions when the seller wants the payment of the goods before shipment. The main objectives behind pre-shipment finance or pre-export finance is to enable exporters to procure raw material, carry out manufacturing process, provide a secure warehouse for goods and raw materials, process and pack the goods, ship the goods to buyer, meet other financial cost of the business, types of pre-shipment finance, packing credit, advance against check, drafts, etc., representing advance payments. Pre-shipment finance is extended in the following form: packing credit in Indian rupee, packing credit in foreign currency, requirement for getting packing credit. This facility is provided to an exporter who satisfies the following criteria: a 10-digit importer-exporter code number allotted by Directorate General of Foreign Trade. Exporter should not be in the caution list of RBI. If the goods to be exported are not under OGL, Open General License, the exporter should have the required license, quota, permit to export the goods. Packing credit facilities can be provided to an exporter on production of the following: evidences to the bank, formal application for release the packing credit with undertaking to the effect that the exporter would ship the goods within stipulated due date and submit the relevant shipping documents to the bank within prescribed time limit. Firm order or irrevocable original cable, fax, telex message exchange between the exporter and the buyer. License issued by DGFT if the goods to exported fall under the restricted or canalized category. If item falls under quota system, proper quota allotment proof needs to be submitted. The confirmed order received from the overseas buyer should reveal the information about the full and address of the overseas buyer, description, quantity and value of goods, FOB or CIF, destination port and the last date of payment. Eligibility. Pre-shipment credit is only issued to that exporter who has the export order in his own name. However, as an exception, financial institutions can also grant credit to a third-party manufacturer or supplier of goods who does not have export orders in their own name. In this case, some of the responsibilities of meeting the exporter requirements have been outsourced to them by main exporter. In other cases where the exporter order is divided between two more or two exporters, pre-shipment credit can be shared between them. Quantum of finance. The quantum of finance is granted to an exporter against the LC or as expected order. The only guideline principle in the concept of need basis finance. Banks determine the percentage of margin depending on factors such as the nature of order, the nature of commodity, the capability of exporter to bring in the requisite contribution. Different stages of pre-shipment finance appraisal and sanction of limits. Before making any allowance for credit, facilities bank need to check the different aspects like product profile, political, economical detail about the country. Apart from these things, the bank also looks into status report of the prospective buyer with whom the exporter proposes to do business. To check all these information, banks can seek the help of institutions like ECGC or international consulting agencies like Dun and Bradstreet, etc. The bank extended the packaging credit facilities after ensuring the following: the exporter is a regular customer, a bona fide exporter and has good standing in the market. Whether the exporter has the necessary license and quota permit as mentioned earlier or not. Whether the country with which the exporter wants to deal is under the list of restricted cover countries or not. Disbursement of packing credit advance. Second, once the proper sanction of the document is done, banks ensure whether exporter has executed the list of documents mentioned earlier or not. Disbursement is normally allowed when all the documents are properly executed. Sometimes an exporter is not able to produce the export order at time of availing packing credit. So, in these cases, the bank provides a special packing credit facility and is known as running account packing. Before dispersing, the bank specifically check for the following particulars in submitted documents: name of buyer, commodity to be exported, quantity value, last date of shipment negotiation, any other terms to be complied with. The quantum of finance is fixed depending on the FOB value of contract, LC, or domestic values of goods, whichever is found to be lower. Normally, insurance and freight charge are considered at a later stage when the goods are ready to be shipped. In this case, disbursal are made only in stages and, if possible, not in cash. The payments are made directly to the supplier by draft, bankers, check, and bank decides the duration of packing credit depending upon the time required by the exporter for processing of goods. The maximum duration of packing credit period is 180 days. However, bank may provide a further 90 days extension on its own discretion without referring to RBI. Follow up on packing credit advance. Exporter needs to submit stock statement giving all the necessary information about the stocks. It is then used by the banks as a guarantee for securing the packing credit in advance. Bank also decides the rate of submission of these stock. Apart from this, authorized dealers, banks, also physically inspect the stock at regular intervals. Packing credit advance need to liquidate it out as the exporter proceeds of the relevant shipment, thereby converting pre-shipment credit into post-shipment credit. This liquidation can also be done by the payment receivable from the Government of India and includes the duty drawbacks, payments from the Market Development Fund of central government or from any other relevant source. In case if the exporter does not take place, then entire advance can also be recovered at a certain interest rate. RBI has allowed some flexibility into this regulation under which substitution of commodity or buyer can be allowed by a bank without any reference to RBI. Hence, in effect, the packing credit advance may be repaid by proceeds from export of the same or other commodity to the same or another buyer. However, bank need to ensure that the substitution is commercially necessary and unavoidable. Bank consider a packing credit as an overdue if the borrower fails to liquidate the packing credit on the due date, and if the condition persists, then the bank takes the necessary steps to recover its dues as per normal recovery procedure. Packing credit can only be shared on the basis of disclaimer between the export order holder EOH and the manufacturer of the goods. This disclaimer is normally issued by the exporter order holder EOH in order to indicate that he is not availing any credit facility against the portion of the order transferred in the name of the manufacturer. This disclaimer is also signed by the bankers of export order holder, after which they have an option to open an inland LC, specifying the goods to be supplied to the EOH as a part of export transaction. On basis of such an LC, the supplier bank may grant a packing credit to the sub-supplier to manufacture the components required for exporters. On supply of goods, the LC opening bank will pay to the sub-supplier's bank against the inland documents received on the basis of the inland LC opened by them. The final responsibility of export order holder is to export the goods as per guidelines. Any delay in export order can bring export order holder to penal provision that can be issued anytime. The main objective of this method is to cover only the first stage of production cycles and is not extended to cover supply of raw material, etc. Running account facility is not granted to sub-suppliers in case EOH is the trading house. The facility is available commencing from the manufacturer to whom the order has been passed by the trading house. Banks, however, ensure that there is no double financing, and the total period of packing credit does not exceed the actual cycle of production of the commodity. It is a special facility under which a bank has the right to grant pre-shipment advance for exporter to the exporter of any origin. Sometimes banks also extend these facilities depending upon the good track record of exporter. In return, the exporter needs to produce the letter of credit from exporter ordering within a given period of time. Authorized dealers are permitted to extend pre-shipment credit in foreign currency with an objective of making the credit available to the exporters at internationally competitive price. This is considered as an added advantage under which credit is provided in foreign currency in order to facilitate the purchase of raw material after fulfilling the basic export orders. The rate of interest on PCFC is linked to London Interbank Offered Rate. According to guideline, the final cost of exporter must not exceed 0.75% over 6-month LIBOR, excluding the tax. The exporter has freedom to avail PCFC in convertible currencies like USD, pound, sterling, euro, yen, etc. However, the risk associated with the cross-currency transaction is that of the exporter. The sources of funds for the banks for extending PCFC facility including the foreign currency balances available with the bank in exchange, earner foreign currency account, resident foreign currency accounts, RFC bracketed D, and foreign currency non-resident accounts. Banks are also permitted to utilize the foreign currency balances available under escrow account and exporters' foreign currency accounts. It ensures that the requirement of funds by account holders for permissible transactions is met. But the limit prescribed for maintaining maximum balance in the account is not exceeded. In addition, banks may arrange for borrowing from abroad. Banks may negotiate terms of credit with overseas bank for the purpose of grant of PCFC to exporters with the prior approval of RBI, provided the rate of interest on borrowing does not exceed 0.75% over 6 months LIBOR. Deemed exports made to multilateral funds, aided projects and programs under orders secured through global tenders for which payment will be made in free foreign exchange are eligible for concessional rate of interest facility both at pre and post supply stages. In case of consultancy service, exporters do not involve physical movement of goods out of Indian customs territory. In such cases, pre-shipment finance can be provided by the banks to allow exporters to mobilize resources like technical personnel and training them. Where exporters receive direct payments from abroad by means of checks, drafts, etc., the bank may grant exporter credit at concessional rate to the exporters of goods track record till the time of realization of the proceeds of the checks or draft, etc. Banks, however, must satisfy themselves that the proceeds are against an exporter order. Post-shipment finance is a kind of loan provided by a financial institution to an export or seller against a shipment that has already been made. This type of export finance is granted for the date of extending the credit after shipment of the goods to the realization date of the exporter proceeds. Exporters don't wait for the importer to deposit the funds. Basic features. The features of post-shipment finance are: post-shipment finance is meant to finance export sales receivable after the date of shipment of goods to the date of realization of exports proceeds. In cases of deemed exports, it is extended to finance receivable against supplies made to designated agencies. post-shipment finances is provided against evidence of shipment of goods or supplies made to the importer or seller or any other designated agency. Post-shipment finance can be secured or unsecured. Since the finance is extended against evidence of export shipment and banks obtain the documents of title of goods, the finance is normally self-liquidating. In that case, it involves advance against undrawn balance and is usually unsecured in nature. Further, the finance is mostly a funded advance. In few cases, such as financing of project exports, the issue of guarantee retention money guarantee is involved and the financing is not funded in nature. Post-shipment finance can be extended up to 100% of invoice value of goods. In special cases where the domestic value of goods increase the value of exporter order, finance for a price difference can also be extended and the price difference is covered by the government. This type of finance is not extended in case of pre-shipment stage. Banks can also finance undrawn balance. In such cases, banks are free to stipulate margin requirements as per their usual lending norms. Post-shipment finance can be of short-term or long-term, depending on the payment terms offered by the exporter to the overseas importer. In case of cash exports, the maximum period allowed for realization of export proceed is 6 months from the date of shipment. Concessive rate of interest is available for a highest period of 180 days opening from the date of surrender of documents. Usually, the documents need to be submitted within 21 days from the date of shipment. Financing for various types of export buyers credit. Post-shipment finance can be provided for 3 types of export. Physical exports. Finance is provided to the actual exporter or to the exporter in whose name the trade documents are transferred. Deemed exports. Finance is provided to the supplier of the goods which are supplied to the designated agencies. Capital goods and project exports. Finance is sometimes extended in the name of overseas buyer. The dispersal of the money is directly made to the domestic exporter. Supplier's credit. Buyer's credit is a special type of loan that a bank offers to the buyer for large-scale purchasing under a contract. Once the bank approves loans to the buyer, the seller shoulders all or part of interest incurred. Type of post-shipment finance. The post-shipment finance can be classified as export bills, purchase discounted, export bills negotiated, advance against export bills sent on collection basis, advance against export on consignment basis, advance against undrawn balance on exports, advance against claim of duty drawbacks. First, export bills purchased / discounted. Export bills is used in terms of sale contract order may be discounted or purchased by the banks. It is used in disputable international trade transaction and the proper limit has to be sanctioned to the exporter for purchase of exporter bill facility. Second, exporter bill negotiated, bill under LC. The risk of payment is less under LC as the issuing bank ensures of the payment. The risk is further reduced if a bank guarantee the payments by confirming the LC. Because of the in-bond security available in this method, banks often become ready to extend the finance against bill under LC. However, this arises 2 major risk factors for the bank. The risk of the non-performance by the exporter when he is unable to meet his terms and conditions. In this case, the issuing bank do not honor the letter of credit. The bank also faces the documentary risk where issuing bank refuses to honor its commitment. So, it is important for the negotiation bank and lending bank to properly check all the necessary documents before submission. Third, advance against export bills sent on collection basis. Bills can only be sent on collection basis if the bills drawn under LC have some discrepancies. Sometimes exporters request the bill to be sent on the collection basis, anticipating the strengthening of foreign currency. Banks may allow advance against these collection bills to an exporter with a concessional rate of interest depending upon the transit period in case of DP bills. The transit period is from the date of acceptance of the exporter documents at the bank's branch for collection and not from the date of advance. Fourth, advance against export on consignment basis. Bank may choose to finance when the goods are exported on consignment basis at the risk of the exporter for sales and eventual payment of sales proceeds to him by the consignee. However, in this case, bank instructs the overseas bank to deliver the document only against trust receipt, undertaking to deliver the sales proceeds by specified date, which should be within the prescribed date, even if according to the practice in certain trades, a bill for part of the estimated value is drawn in advance against the exports. In case of export through approved Indian-owned warehouse abroad, the time limit for realization is 15 months. Fifth, advance against undrawn balance. It is a very common practice in export to leave small part undrawn for payment after adjustment due to differences in rate, weight, quality, etc. Banks do finance against the undrawn balance if undrawn balance is in conformity with the normal level of balance left undrawn in the particular line of export, subject to a maximum of 10% of the export value. An undertaking is also obtained for the exporter that he will within 6 months from the due date of payment or the date of shipment of goods, whichever is earlier, surrender balance proceeds of the shipment. Sixth, advance against claim of duty drawbacks. Duty drawbacks is a type of discount given to the exporter in his own country. This discount is given only in the in-house cost of production is higher in relation to the international price. This type of financial support helps the exporter to fight successfully in the international markets. In such a situation, bank grants advances to exporters at lower rate of interest for a maximum period of 90 days. These are granted only if other types of export finance are also extended to the exporter by the same bank. After the shipment, the exporters launch their claims supported by their relevant documents to the relevant government authorities. These claims are processed and eligible amount is disbursed after making sure that the bank is authorized to receive the claim amount directly from the concerned government authorities. With this, we have covered pre-shipment and post-shipment finance, types and features and details associated with it. That is all for today. Hope you have understood. We'll see you again with next topic. Till then, take care. Bye. Thank you.